Hey, welcome back to the channel, y'all. And if you're new, welcome. My name is Zach, and this channel and its content are intended to be a beacon of light, of hope, or maybe just some words of encouragement to you or anybody else going through a hardship in their life now or whenever these videos may find you. Tonight I want to do something a little bit different. I want to read a poem that I wrote about a year into my journey to discover myself over again. That poem reads, "Of every end I had met, the most beautiful end of them all was my own, because at that end I finally became free, beautifully free to become and meet me." When I set out on this journey, on this path, it was coming from a place of a lot of chaos and confusion, a lot of grief. And I felt like I didn't know hardly anything about who I was. I knew a lot of things that I wasn't. The problem was that a lot of the things that I knew I wasn't were the things that were defining how I had been living for years. We all kind of have our own unique versions of this. But for me, my misidentity with myself was made up of a lot of approval seeking and abandonment that I was trying to either get or avoid. And I would give people the version that I thought they expected and needed or would approve of, as opposed to just giving myself. And whether I was giving that to get their approval or to get them to stay, what I didn't realize was I was building up this character. I was writing the story of a person that I was creating that wasn't me. And then I was forced to live in that life of the person that was constructed of behaviors and emotions and presentation that wasn't me. It had been slowly constructed over a long period of time, trying to protect my actual self from feeling alone or misunderstood, or feeling like I wasn't good enough for the good things that would come into my life. So the things that did exist in my life, I would bend and break and morph myself into whatever it seemed like those situations were calling for from me, so that I didn't lose those things. Meanwhile, inside, the voice of the person I had been all along got quieter and quieter and quieter, only because the noise of all the other things going on just got louder and louder and louder. So when we set out on a journey to redefine ourselves, find ourselves over again, and allow ourselves to truly be that person, we find things easily in the beginning that we know aren't us. And it might be easy to let those things go, change those behaviors, leave those relationships. But then we may feel like there are some things that kind of are us, or really are a piece of us. So we hold on to them, or we just let them stay. Then the longer we go, the more we pursue this new way of life, this new being, we start to feel kind of disingenuous. Not because those things may be bad behaviors that we've held on to or dark portions of ourselves, but maybe they're just old versions that we were comfortable with. And it's not that they're evil or dark or bad. It's just that they're not part of our identity anymore. And then we realize that that stuff has to go too. And then we start to get down to this raw, new feeling us. And the more we get acquainted with it, the more we start to realize that it's not new at all. We start to remember some of these things over again, things that we valued or cherished or enjoyed, that we shut out because somebody at some point may have told us that they didn't like that, or they didn't approve of it, or somebody we cared about at some point told us that it was wrong. But now we're getting reacquainted with those things, and we realize they're not new. They're just us. And it almost feels like this. It's like meeting a friend that you haven't seen in years, but you felt like they were there all along. And once you see them, you're laughing with them again. It's like you never picked up, it's like you picked up right where you left off. It's like nothing changed. And then you feel kind of liberated. You start to feel comfortable in your own skin. Because you realize that all those things that had to go weren't meant for you to carry them. But now that you've experienced them, now that you've learned from them, they now create an even stronger definition of you in your authenticity as you embrace it, because you know those darknesses, you know those false identities and those self-limiting beliefs. And once you've let go of them, they just become the darkness around your new light. You stand out in its contrast. You are this new free, beautiful, open, and willing to change person. And you realize it was an old friend all along, because it was just you. Pursue your journey without hesitation. No matter what obstacle, no matter what roadblock you feel like you hit, those are just there to teach you something about yourself and grant you an opportunity to learn something new or do something differently, grow in a way you didn't know you needed to before. And I promise that if you are unrelenting in your pursuit of meeting yourself, you will. And it'll be beautiful. Thanks for watching, y'all. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you thought this was helpful, or even if you just enjoyed this story. Thanks for watching, y'all. Have a good night.